Let's get into wireless controllability with the Nanlite PavoTubes. There we are. Let's go. Nanlite did not ask me to make this video. Nanlite did not pay me to do this video. I wanted to talk about it because I felt it's a very useful piece of tool and technology that all of us can use. And I know there's a lot of people who have these PavoTubes because it's it's priced well for a lot of people to dive into tubes without having to spend a lot of money. Whenever we're doing a fairly intense scene and we want to put lights all over the place, wireless connectivity does go a long way. Many people think that the wireless capability of what's already available currently for the Nanlite tubes doesn't work very well app-wise. And I know that Nanlite has a controller that you can get and it's cheap and you can control the lights. I didn't want to go the controller route. I wanted to go through this particular system. Now what I have here is the Nanlite wireless. It's actually a Nanwang. Oh, they're all the same company, Nanlite, Nanwang, and Nanlux. It was on sale, that's why I picked it up. And when I went online looking to see who else was using this, there weren't a lot of people. There were a couple of video reviews and there was a lot of chatter in forums, but that's it. And I feel like what that did is it did scare a lot of people from wanting to dive into this. For me, the reason why I decided to dive into it is because I typically use tubes for the basic needs. I don't always do specialty flashes or cop cars or any of the lightning effects. What this does with the capability of the software, which I believe is the bottleneck point problem that a lot of people are having, it works. It works when you need to do intensity. It works when you need to change colors, and it works to see where all your lights are at, how to control them, grouping them together. That part works, and that's the part that was important to me, and that's why I got this. To get into your app, you jump into the Nanwang LED or Nanlite LED app, and when you want to make a new group, hit group first, and you're going to group all the lights together. And you're going to hit setup new group, and you can hit RGB. I'm going to go ahead and click plus sign, and I have 6 here. You can have up to, let's see, how many can you have? It says you can have up to 512. I mean, if I have that many PavoTubes on site, I'm interested to see what that scene would look like. Press confirm, and I'm gonna go and hit save. And when you hit the save button, you have to give it a name. Press confirm, and they all started their default. Default is 0. Groups is actually the only one that actually works really well on these apps, and you can definitely make the changes as you can see here. The buttons aren't overly responsive. Let me grab number 3 here. It's pretty responsive right now, but when we were running around on set, we wanted to kind of have the colors change a little bit easier, and it does have a little bit of a delay. Sometimes the delay is really, really bad, and sometimes it's not horrible. And right now, since I think it's because I'm this close to the wireless, it's actually quite responsive. But again, to give you guys an idea with the distance, we had this inside of a gymnasium. The wireless was on one end of the gymnasium. These lights were on the other side, and we were filming in the middle of it. All right, sometimes if you use the linkage button, now the linkage is really cool on here. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll to the top here. And there are 2 buttons on here. There's a linkage button and a sync button. And I believe linkage just means it links all the lights. And if I change the settings, and I did this before, you hit the linkage and you change, let's say, the intensity. And if all of the lights were manually or if they're individually set to different intensities, you move the intensity, they stay at that increment. Let's say if one was at 5% and one was at 10% in the individual, and you move the linkage forward, the 5% will go to 10, the 10% will go to 15, and so on. But if you hit sync, they'll all follow each other, and I found the 2 of them together with the 2 buttons has been the most reliable on the projects I was on. So I synced it. I'm gonna go ahead and intensify all together. There we go. As you can see, all of them behind me. Oh, look at that. One of them is actually off. And let's see which one is that one. It's one here at the bottom, but let's see if I can change the color. Aha, it's coming back. Okay. And it's great to have the wireless because I'm not having to get up and dial every single one down, which is the annoying part for any product that comes into all these new technology lights. So why not use the technology that's available? And here we are with this app. There's a scene button that's actually in this app that doesn't work all too well. And the scene should be able to save the lights in a certain scene, press save, and then you can jump between scenes. You should be able to have like, oh, I have a scene where we're going into a blue room, or go to a scene going in a green room, or we have multicolored room, or whatever. You know, your scene can be whatever you want it to be, and you set the lights, but that scene button doesn't always work. So I find the way around it is using the groups button. And when you do the groups, as you can see what I'm doing, you just press back, jump into the next group, and it actually changes all the tubes to where it needs to go. Another thing that doesn't work very well on here is if you wanted to do any of your effects, the effects do come up on the app. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, never reliable. That's something a lot of people ask is like, if the power goes out, or let's say a battery dies on one of these, I'm gonna physically turn it off. There we go. And it's off. So it's obviously off sync from the app. If I change the app adjust settings, I'm gonna go to like 10, oops. I'm gonna turn the app back on. There we go, should be pink. This is number 3, grab the thing, and look at that. It's right back to being connected, and it's the blue that I originally told it to be. As you saw, it was actually green. Now let's say someone grabs the tube and accidentally go into a menu and changes, oops, oh my gosh, I'm changing this manually. Why did you change that manually? I have control on the app. Why did you do that? Don't be mad. Grab the app, go to number 3, and we're back in business again. So that part works really well. To set up the addresses on these tubes, let me show you guys how that works. In the tube settings, you want to go to menu, scroll down to number 5, and there should be an address button. When you click on the address button, it's going to ask you for your address, and this is the number you choose. Now, one thing I actually not a huge fan of is they're a little too sensitive. You barely touch them, and they jump like 20 different numbers or whatever, and you have to slowly, incrementally bring it back down. Once you choose a number, this is something that I learned on the last shoot we were on. We did, the guys are having problems with the lights getting off of the addresses. The problem with it is that the guys were putting these safety chains that actually is really neat about this particular product. It's one of the things I really like about these Nanlites. They actually send you with safety chains. If you put the safety chain through the area that has the knobs, sometimes, depending on how you're setting up your safety chain or if you're just sliding it in, it rolls the dial, and if you're not paying attention, it will change the settings on the light. So the way to get around that, if you're doing the address setup and you're setting it up for wireless, when you get into the address area and you find your number that you're gonna set this particular tube to, press enter. It doesn't do anything when you press enter, but to me, it's just like confirmation for myself. Like I physically press enter, I know it's that number, and then you go ahead and press menu. Get out of it. So if you accidentally dial, it's just dialing through the menu. Doesn't matter. It won't mess up the addresses or anything. Be mindful of that for this, okay? I'm gonna give you guys a little tip. If the app crashes for any reason, I'm gonna go ahead and do that on my iPad. Gonna go ahead and close it. Boom, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my iPad. Actually, I'm gonna just take it off the Wi-Fi. I'm not gonna turn it off because it'll take too long to come back on. I'm off the Wi-Fi, oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna turn back on my Wi-Fi. I've obviously lost connection with everything. My Wi-Fi's back on. I jump back into my Nanlite LED Nan weighing app. I dive back in my groups. I'm gonna go to my background group and I'm back online. As you can see, that didn't take very long. Let's say, okay, let's make another scenario. Let's say this guy, the battery dies. And as you can see, the lights here tell you that you're linked. The lights here tell you that you're on Wi-Fi, and this side tells you that you're on and you're on master. Master meaning this is the controller. You put it on slave if for any reason you wanted to use the DMX control bar right here, DMX control out of this. I haven't used it for DMX yet. None of my gaffs that I've used this particular system with has had DMX for me to test it. So if I ever get that opportunity, I'll show you guys. But till then, that's what that does, or that's what the booklet tells you it does. But turning it off, there it is, it's off. I'm gonna go ahead and take the battery out. Oh man, I gotta change the battery. So there's the battery. Okay, so obviously there's no power coming into this. Now, put the battery back in. Eventually, there we go. Turn the system back on. And as you can see, there's the lights telling you it's on master, and we just gotta wait for this to say Wi-Fi. So eventually it'll kick back in. There it is. And then eventually it'll say link. Link means it's found itself a product to jump onto, and that's gonna be my iPad. And yep, my iPads are connected. There's my link. I'm gonna go and put this back on the side. And this is number 3. Let's see here. Oh, actually I gotta go back and relink it on here as well. So let me dive back into my app here. That's connected. Oh, there it is. It actually just connected on its own. Takes a little bit, you know, to kind of find everything. The app will tell you it's been connectedly received, and there we go, I have control again. That didn't take but, I don't know, a few seconds, maybe 10, 15 seconds. I didn't time it. So just to show you, it works pretty decent. The connections work really well, the speed's very neat. You just have to work around the quirks and it works really well. So what am I saying? What am I telling you guys? Actually, I'm directly saying this to Nanlite, like, come on guys. It's tough, COVID sucks, we all know that. Get yourself a really good app designer to help you guys. You guys have a really good starting base, and I think if you dive back into it, give a little bit more effort to kind of fix this, we'll have more of us utilizing these lights on more professional settings. Now I know that there's talk on the forums talking about how Nanlite is thinking about working on an app, and they're going to do that for their next level of, you know, products. But honestly, if you guys update this to also talk to the other products, this will go a long way. Nanlite, please update the app. I am still using it. It doesn't bother me the way that I use it currently, and I'll still use it until then. But if you guys can update the app, I can get more use out of this, and I would be even more inclined to get more tubes to go with it, so I can, you know, make everything play well. So thanks for watching. My name is Raymond, and I hope you guys dive into an app and start finding that this helps you speed up your production. Have a great one.